Welcome to the CTM Sports Show. Thanks for sharing, and subscribing. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for hitting that red button. Subscribe. Help us reach 1K on the CTM channel. Please watch our other podcast, The Thinking Game, where we talk about topics, the adult topics for regular people, for working people. Talking about transitioning from teen to being an adult, things you got to think about. Get that podcast or watch too. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Also, today's topics, we're going to talk about Mark Jackson being fired from ESPN. Clippers are thinking about the Kawhi Leonard window. How much time do they have left with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? Definitely something to think about. Mike Tirico, it took him 7 years to get a promotion. Why does it take that long? Somebody did a post. Dirk Nowitzki or Kevin Garnett? Who's the better person? And then the Spence versus Crawford fight. Really good fight, even though it was one-sided, but still a good fight. So, before we get started, just make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, help me reach 1K. Keep watching the channel, help us grow. Let us know what you think about the channel, and we're going to keep making content and keep moving. First topic is the Spence versus Crawford fight. Crawford dominated Spence after the second round. It seemed like he downloaded him. You know, he realized that the jab was going to work. Some was like Spence had a good first round, but after that it just kind of went downhill, and Crawford just pretty much dominated him. And then it was a TKO. They called it a TKO. He just couldn't defend himself anymore. He couldn't stop that left jab from hitting him. So even though he lost, he still lost with class. He didn't try to make it sound like he was overrated. He said he just wasn't a better man tonight. And sometimes you have nights like that. He just, unfortunately, you don't want to have him on nights like this. Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall. And Crawford was dropping them bees on him. They was falling. But Spence, he lost with class. Shout out to Spence, man. I just hate he had to lose like that, because when you watch those Showtime specials, you get vested in both of them. You see both of them working out, both of them, you know, doing a pro day. They, you know, they got that eye of a tiger. You know, they sparring, they doing their work, footwork. And you think, man, it's going to be a really good fight. But that just was not the case. It's like Crawford, not only did he solidify his legacy, now he got all the belts. I think in the welterweight, I think he's the undisputed all-around champion. But Crawford is built different. I mean, he's not built like other fighters. I mean, dude built different, man. From Nebraska, he was saying he broke his right hand fighting, so he learned how to use his left hand. He said his left hand became just as strong as his right hand, so he can fight you in either stance with left or right leading, whichever one he want to lead with. And man, he just come from a different cause. I mean, I think he said he got shot in the head. You know, he drove himself to the hospital. How many people you know could do that? And you know, I mean, he's just a different dude. That's all I gotta say. I respect Crawford too. He's a different dude. You know, people saying he overrated. He just showed you he wasn't. He figured him out. He didn't let him. And that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, you get the upper hand. You gotta stay with the upper hand and finish the fight. That's what he did. He finished the fight. He didn't let Spence come back. And it seemed like Spence hadn't really been right after that car accident, though. And I hope that he recovers from this. Maybe they can do a rematch if it's viable. But, I mean, he was undefeated until that match. So, I mean, one loss. You just don't want to lose like that. But I think he'll be back. He'll bounce back. The next topic, I seen this, right? I mean, it's pure opinional, depending on how you feel about each player. I mean, I like both of these guys. Dirk Nowitzki or Kevin Garnett. Similar in numbers. They both got one MVP apiece. And they both got like one ring apiece. Numbers are probably pretty close. But KG was the better of those two, in my opinion. If you was to pick a team and you needed a power forward to start your team. Dirk was a great offensive player, but Kevin Garnett was too. People probably don't remember those days when he was in Minnesota Timberwolves, even though it was like being in NBA Siberia. But he was doing turnaround jumpers. He was actually shooting threes, and this was in the 90s. I mean, still kind of in the Jordan era. He was balling. They had Stephon Marbury. I don't know why they traded him. Who knows? There's a bunch of little stuff swirling around that. But Kevin Garnett did everything. He played defense and offense. Not just, jumping and dunking. He was shooting jumpers, mid-range, turnaround. His turnaround was lethal. I mean, you couldn't block it. Now, Dirk had the best turnaround out of the two. He looked the prettiest. He had the best turnaround that couldn't be blocked, being 6'11". But KG blocked shots. He played defense, and he scored too. He carried the Timberwolves for a long time. Remember, they called him the big ticket. You remember that? But Minnesota did not do a good job of putting talent around him. I mean, it seemed like the best they could do was when he had Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell, because they messed up by doing something with that Joe Thomas deal. I think they did something they weren't supposed to do, and they kind of messed them up for some years too, where they couldn't get talent and stuff like that because of the violation that they did. But a lot of his years in Minnesota wasn't captured on camera because they wasn't a good team. But he was, in my eyes, he was way better than Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki was good, but he wasn't KG good. KG was a better all-around player. He could do everything when he first came into the league. Versus Dirk is a more offensive-oriented player. He may block some shots here and there, but his bread and butter is give him the ball on the elbow, on the block. He do that turnaround jumper or shoot a three, and it's butter. KG gonna shoot the three, and he gonna block the shot, and he gonna talk trash and get into the other team's head as well. So just something to think about, because both of them didn't win a championship till they had talent around them. Garnett didn't win a championship till he went and played with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, and Dirk didn't win a championship till they got like Tyson Chandler, Sean Marion, and Jason Kidd, along with him and Jason Terry. Then they won a championship. So kind of even on that, but I think KG was the better one. If I had to draft and I needed that stretch four, he probably was the first stretch four that you could think of. I'm getting KG. So let me know in the comments what you think. Would you go with Dirk Nowitzki or KG? I'm gonna go with KG. So a lot of people, probably regular people, understand this. Mike Tirico, they said it took him 7 years to get a promotion. They said he had to wait for Al Michaels to leave Sunday Night Football for him to be promoted and be the head announcer for Sunday Night Football. And when they asked him the question, he answered it like a professional. He said it didn't affect him because he was so busy. He really didn't think about it. He was kind of numb to it. But let's be honest, even for regular people, you work a job without 7 years and you get no promotion. In most jobs, they have to give you an annual evaluation, but after the evaluation, they say you did good, you did a great job, but we can't give you a raise. We can't give you a raise. They tell you that for 7 years. How would that? A lot of people wouldn't even stick around for 7 years. They'd be looking for a better deal probably after 5 or 6. But he hung in there. He took it like a professional. He got his promotion. Man, shout out to Mike Tirico. You know what I'm saying? Something about those mics. You know what I'm saying? So, what is it like for regular people waiting on promotions? Well, in the regular workforce, this is what I saw with my own 2 eyes living in Little Rock, Arkansas. There are the jobs that give you a promotion every year are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. A lot of jobs, they put you in this scale, and they even post it. They tell you this job pays from X to Y. And then when you start the job, there is no room for negotiation. They say you're going to start at X. No matter if you have the degree, you meet all the qualifications, they'll tell you in the interview, before we start this interview, are you comfortable with starting at X? If you say yes, we can proceed. If you say no, Thank you for coming. Sorry we couldn't meet your expectations. Well, we're gonna move on to another person that will accept X. And there are jobs that you can, when they lock you in at X, whatever X is, you will never get a raise to get to Y. You will be at X the whole time. They may give you a yearly bonus or a performance bonus, whatever they call it, but that's to prevent them from giving everybody a raise across the board and raising overhead. In my opinion, that's what it is for. But there are a lot of people who don't get promotions in 7 years. So cool, he got his in 7 years, because it's people that's been working for jobs for 30 years and they still at X. And all they got was bonuses in the summer or something like that, a one-time bonus of the year. So it happens. It don't just happen to Mike Tirico. It does happen. And the question is, to think about is moving to new positions the new way to get promotions now? That's what it seems like sometimes. Sometimes you can never really get comfortable now in the job marketplace in one position. It seems like you have to be willing to level up and try a new position or move to a new position in order to move up to different levels. That's just what I see with my own two eyes. If you got anything different, let me know in the comments. But that's what I see in the job force where I'm at. Clippers are thinking about the Kawhi window. How much time do they have left? Every year since he's been there, he's been hit with injuries, knee, cartilage in his knee, ACL surgery, stuff like that. And they're thinking, are we going to renew or give him an extension, or are we going to trade him or let him walk? The injuries and availability affect the decision, guys. I mean, let's just be honest. He has been injured. The fact that, he was playing in the playoffs and then he just stopped. I mean, he was balling, playing out of his mind, then he just shut it down. I'm injured, shut it down. I'm not saying he wasn't injured, but I'm saying it's almost like getting people salivating and teasing, and then it's over. It does something to people, guys. Sometimes the best ability is availability, and that's not showed up in the stats all the time. You think about LeBron, been playing the game for 20 years. He may have had a few injuries in his career, but he's been available for at least 95% of his career. He's been available. So something to think about. Even though you cannot control your injuries, it's still a factor. Some people are more prone to injuries than others, and some people are not. They're built like cyborgs, you know what I'm saying? And like say LeBron, man, he is a different kind of guy. It's like he's cut from marble or something. He very rarely get injured. You see it now, he's getting older, but the guy's all in his late 30s, you know what I'm saying? Almost 40. So what do you expect? I'm 40 years old, and if I try to play NBA game, I'm pretty sure I'll probably get hurt. I'm not built like that. I'm not built to play 40 minutes a night. You have to build yourself up to that. And not everybody has that same discipline and determination to do that. So the question to think about is, can you depend on Kawhi based on his track record? Based on his track record, he load manages. If you have him on your team, are you going to give in to that? Or are you going to try to get him to play all 82 games? Well, he probably can't play all 82 games based on his availability record and his track record. It's going to be interesting to see if they go forward with Kawhi Leonard or not, or Paul George. Are they just going to blow it all up and do something different? Because they was saying they're thinking about James Harden. What if they trade Kawhi Leonard for James Harden? What if James Harden go to Philly and they win a championship and then he retire? What if James Harden go to the Clippers and it don't work? Because you remember him and Russell Westbrook played on the same team. It didn't work. Maybe with the coaching may be different, but I don't know. I don't think they can play together at the same time because they both like the ball in their hands. So be interesting to see if they even do something like that. Or maybe they're going to trade Westbrook to 76ers with Kawhi Leonard for James Harden. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to do it. I would probably rather go with Kawhi Leonard than James Harden. Because James Harden will quit on you. He'll be perfectly healthy and quit on you. So because he don't like something you did. Next topic. This will be our last topic. Mark Jackson recently fired from ESPN based on reports. He was with ESPN for 10 years, doing sports announcing and NBA commentating and NBA coverage. So the question I have, is there such thing as job security now? We talk about that as a culture, like job security. You want to get somewhere and get job security. But is that such a thing now? Because the economy is so fragile, companies are saying that they're losing money, and it seems like sometimes the more expensive you are, the more expendable you are. And is ESPN, are they rebuilding or are they unraveling in front of our eyes? Is social media, YouTube, and all this stuff, is it taking over to where people not watching TV like they used to? People on the go. You know, when it was the COVID scare, everybody was at home watching TV, glued to the TV. But now that it's lifted, people are doing more things now. People are traveling more. People are more active, so they're not at home watching TV. So, and who really watches the ESPN app on their phone? I see people doing more social media stuff than like ESPN, but that's what I see with my own two eyes. So, but man, I hate that for Mark Jackson. But the thing about media and TV, you only be on there for so long. Kind of like the theory, what goes up must come down. You can be on TV for so long, you start getting stagnated, and then sometimes they try to tell you that their little spin off, they want something fresh, a fresh face, or something different. But it's tough, guys. But I think Mark Jackson will bounce back. I think he'll be good. He'll be all right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he started his own production, his own content, because a basketball mind like his, you really don't let that kind of stuff go. But in this day and age, things are changing right before our eyes. So, but I hate to hear that. But the time we living in, times are changing. Job security, it seemed like a thing of the past. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was it okay for them to fire Mark Jackson? I don't think it was. I think they're gonna miss that relevant knowledge of basketball. I wish he would be a head coach, but sometimes the things you do can follow you and kind of make things hard for you. But shout out to Mark Jackson. I know you'll bounce back. Much love to you, brother. This is Mike, CTM Sports. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help us reach 1K, and I'm signing out. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm out.